Today, we're automating an essential item for the Create mod. Welcome to a new video on the Create world, and today I want to work on a kelp farm. Before we can do that, we're going to need a place to put it. So let's gather up some stuff and make a dock. The dock itself is going to be pretty simple. The supporting structure is just a grid-like pattern with the cross sections reaching all the way down to the seafloor. We're going to be covering this entire place with some spruce textured panels, and we'll add a little ledge around the platform so we can add a nice rail to it. Now it's time for the actual farm. We're going to be building a boat that goes around and harvests the natural kelp that's in the ocean. There's no actual boat in this mod pack, but there are invisible tracks in the Steam and Rail add-on. I spent a stream collecting some phantom membranes, so we should be able to make more than enough track for this farm. The only thing that we need to do is change out the iron nuggets for iron ingots in the track machine and send the membranes through. Alright, now let's get this track in. I feel like we shouldn't have too many sharp turns in here, and we'll make a large curvy track going out to almost the edge of the render distance. That way we can have the boat sit there on the horizon for a while before returning to the dock. And I think this should do the trick. Now let's see if we can make this boat I've been yapping about. We'll construct a boat, or should I say barge, outside of the water and then relocate it later. The barge itself will be made out of a big rectangular box. The base will be textured with some industrial iron, and we'll add a captain booth at the front. The texture of the walls will be a mixture of white locomotive metal with some brass sprinkled in. We'll add a crossbeam with a mechanical arm to look like a crane, so that we can pick up any leftover kelp in the ocean. And that's it. I just have to glue it all together and make sure I get every little part of it. And then we can simply put it on the tracks that are in the water. And it's flooded. That's weird. Let's drain it and see what happens. So it just flooded again. I'll leave it as is, I guess. Maybe you can tell me what causes this or how to fix it in the comments below. Oh, and while you're there, maybe you can subscribe and leave a like as well. Now, for the harvesters. I'm going to stretch the support to the inside of the loop and extend it all the way down into the water. The harvesters go at the bottom of the poles, and I think that should pick up all the kelp above the block that we're breaking. If not, I'll have to replace these with mechanical saws. And that's it. Now we can send out the boat out to sea and wait for the kelp to get back into storage. Now that we have a good source of kelp, we can turn that into dried kelp. The easiest way of doing that is just having some furnaces or smokers and smelting them down. The fastest and most efficient way is very different though. We've used this in a couple of other spots already, but we're basically going to have some fans blow over campfires through a belt and run the kelp over it. This dries it out and stores it back into the drawers. Eventually, I want this dried kelp to be transported to our home base by train, and the only spot we can load it into a train is the logging mill. So we need a way to get it from the kelp farm over there. The good thing is I've already added a track all the way from there to here. So the only thing that we need to do is to make a small freight trolley that can load up at organic reeds and drop its inventory at the logging mill later. Now, while we wait for the kelp to build up, I want to show you something that we've been doing on stream. Most of the time I use live streams to do behind the scenes work, or clean up things, or finish projects that I couldn't finish in the, episode. And one of the projects that we started is decorating the tunnels. They're made to be a clean black and white, or dark gray and white texture, with some limestone and deep slate and some industrial iron, and I added in these little lights as well. So I'm gonna do one in the video right now so you can see how we're doing it on the live stream. So as you might see, these tunnels need a lot of limestone. And while limestone spawns in large deposits, I haven't seen all that many in this world. There is a way to automate it though. But before we do that, we need to hunt down some bee nests. Those are going to play a key role in the limestone production. Now that we have the bee nests, we can build up a little bee farm. The good thing is we don't have to fiddle around with glass bottles and that whole mechanic. We can just pump the honey straight out of the nest into a tank. We'll use some panels to keep the bees in, and we'll texture them with some stained glass and some industrial iron. Now we just add in the nests, grab some new flowers and breed the bees a bit, and this farm is up and running. It will take a bit of time to get up to speed, but I'll use that time to build up and decorate this little building over here. Alright, everything is in place. We have a nice building with some decor. And this is a great time to add in our little station where we can pump the liquid honey that we have in the tank into buckets, which we'll take over to the starter base, and here we can start the limestone farm. I was going to build one of these in a new area with some other stone farms, but I really need a good source for the tunnels, so a temporary one will do for now. The farm is a pretty easy design. We need some drills that will eventually break the limestone, and it works a bit like a cobble generator. But instead of water, we use the flowing honey. This creates limestone, and when that's broken, it gets picked up by the shoots. Now, we'll encase it to avoid some leaks, and we have a good source of limestone. There's two more things that we need to do at the bee farm, and that's adding a path and a sign. The path is going to be pretty similar to the ones that we've been using so far, just some different textures of andesite with some stone mixed in. And the sign is this one, which I really liked, so that's here now. And I think that might be it for this week's video. If you liked it, subscribe, like, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!